Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the vintage 1988 Gi Joe Cobra Bug. Now this is a really cool vehicle. It's one of those that I didn't know about back in the day in 1988. Didn't even know they made it. But in the last couple of years I've seen this thing around and I've been quite interested in taking a look at this. And it is actually pretty cool. I'm one of those people that don't like the neon colored G.I. Joe stuff of the 90s. Well, this is of 88, and it's not too neon. We're going to talk about this, but I couldn't figure out exactly why I liked it so much. But I'm going to tell you, I found out while I was collecting this and trying to get this thing complete. I'm going to tell you about this. I'm going to tell you all the features that I know coming up. First off, I want to talk about the driver or the pilot or whatever. This is the Secto Viper, and he's actually kind of a cool looking Joe figure. It's one that really surprised me with his look. I've never seen him out in the wild, and this is one of those figures that you're not going to probably find in the wild. He's probably going to be kind of challenging to get. Now, I did tape his little helmet on so that doesn't get lost there. But he's a pretty cool looking figure overall. He does come with this right here, this little gun of his. The thing about this is that this vehicle, the Bug, was not sold in high quantities. I believe it wasn't sold in high quantities. The only way to get the Secto Viper, especially in this color deco, is to buy the Bug back in 1988. And so the fact that you probably want to have a couple of Secto Vipers with your Bug makes this quite a rare figure, hard to get your hands on. They're not impossible to get, but people want crazy prices this day and age. So first off, we are going to put the Secto Viper in his spot here. Now, this thing does open up the side hatch. This is sort of the driver's seat, the pilot seat. And they do have seat belts, which kind of become a pain to get them on and off. So I will generally have to get at it from both angles. But we put him in here. It makes a lot more sense because he's the guy in charge of this to sit in this spot. But you can load it up with a ton of figures and put the seatbelt on. I mean, that's not a lot of fun. Driver safety is even important for Cobra. So we're going to go through all of these, and then we're going to go through the technical names of these because you probably want to get a kick out of all the technical terms they use. So looking at this overall, it's a pretty good sized vehicle. It's quite a decent size, but it's not huge. It's not like a Rolling Thunder or some of the other ones that they've made that are even way bigger than this. But overall, it's impressive enough that you can get a lot done with this and sort of feels like a troop transport. So looking at it from the side, we do see some guns up top here, which are adjustable and movable, and there's a little piece that connects in there that you connect a gun to that piece. Another big gun back here. Side hatches that reveal some jet skis. We've got places for figures to mount here. We've got two mounts for rockets, either a torpedo or the trifork. Anyway, missile right there. We have rudders, and we're going to talk more about those here in a little bit. We have the dual machine guns down here at the bottom. So there's just stuff hidden everywhere in this, and just kind of trying to figure out what all goes with it. We'll show as we go. Another compartment for another one of these jet skis, and then more missiles on the side there. In the back, we have an opening area for more figures to store, and a gunner station, 2 seats, and then a standing spot, which is not really a standing spot, but it gets the job done. And yeah, overall, pretty cool vehicle, but on the surface, yeah, it does kind of look simple. But let's take a look at what more it does. I'm almost scared to pull this pod off because these parts break so easy. We'll get into that too. So, looking at all this, this is a separate pod, and you can put other figures in there. I'm just going to use some random figures that I had standing around in the Terrordrome, but this is an interesting little separate pod. In my mind, when I think of the Bug, and when I thought of the Bug, I thought of just this pod, and I actually thought, because I never had one, so I just saw it in pictures, or a couple times somebody mentioned it, I actually thought these were pods too, and that there was multiple pods. Turns out it's just one big pod that holds 2 figures, and that is pretty cool. Now, if you look at the back of this pod, you do have these fins, and they are connected with a stabilizer kind of piece right there, just like we saw with hovercraft, and we'll get into a hovercraft comparison. And then down here we have this rotating machine gun. Now these break very easily, and they don't hold in place, so they're real floppy, flop around. I'm sure I could get in there and like add some more tension to it so they could stay in place, like maybe like this, so there's less chance of it breaking when you're rolling it around. I do like the stickers, 699727 Bug, whatever all that means. Nice Cobra symbol up there. Kind of cool. I've seen people put this Cobra symbol on the plastic, so I'm not 100% sure what's the right way to do it, but there it is. We'll go around here and kind of add some more figures just because you got to have some figures and more randoms that are just hanging around the Terrordrome doing nothing, just getting paid to stand around doing nothing. You know, come on, you could do something. You could be doing something right now, right? So we'll put him into here, kind of the gunner station, have that go, and yeah, so that kind of works. So in the back part where you could have someone sitting down right here or so. Let's do a formal sitting position. And it's kind of set up, there's kind of a groove notched out so they can kind of lean into there. But standing, I mean, I've seen a lot of people show it, but if you have them standing, this won't close properly. So you could just lean them like that, I guess. But still cool, kind of a troop transport kind of a deal. And this is he's going to operate the gunner station. It has a pressurized 2-man cockpit with an undersea pressure-tested ballistic-proof canopy. Seamless flex skin body pod. Seamless. Boron epoxy directional vanes. Double bubble pressurized driver canopy. You get 4 of the FT-109 fork-tongued surface-to-air side-mounted missiles. 2 of these single-barrel 50-caliber auto-load rotating machine guns. Side hatch covered door. Cover this jet ski. Side-mounted exterior horizontal position personnel platform. 2 of the Strike VT-60 flow-through design alcohol-powered torpedoes. Rear-mounted dual-barrel 50-caliber rotating machine gun with a low-profile ballistic deflection machine gun canopy. You also get an external gas turbine underwater propulsion unit. 1 on each side. Non-clogging 3-piece modular stainless steel wheels. They look plastic to me. Single barrel short throw auto load 50 caliber bottom mounted machine guns. Okay, all the fun technical jargon out of the way, let's go ahead and see what all play value you can get out of this. So starting with the fact that you can just pile a ton of figures in here, I think you could fit comfortably 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably about 10 figures on the vehicle, and then when we get the jet skis out, 2 more figures on the jet skis. So that's going to be a lot of fun right there. So let's see what else we can do with this vehicle and the jet skis. So here's the jet ski, and it's interesting. It's got a little detail for engine, all that kind of stuff going on. But these are like when back in the day when I would see jet skis or Sea-Doos, those kinds of things, and I would see this one that has kind of a rotating piece right here. I never really liked those. I never used them before, but they seem a lot tricky to use. Anyhow, it does come with 2 missiles that are removable with the same kind of dumbbell type of connection there. And I gotta say that the missiles are kind of the hardest part to get. So there's 2 things you can do with it. Obviously, you can ride it, but you can plug it to his back, to the character's back, and they can walk with their jet skis, sort of, if you can get some stiff enough joints on a figure. So that would work, but most people are going to display a figure on it or stow it away inside that compartment. Now, be careful putting a figure on. I always support the back of the heel when I plug something in like that, and then I would not force their fingers over it, but do the best you can to make it look good. All right, so there are a few figures on a few jet skis, having a little bit of fun here. It's kind of cool. It's a pretty cheap little accessory they included. You can still find them pretty cheap on eBay and everywhere like that. Finding the missiles might be hard. I probably need to get another missile, but still it's pretty cool. And generally it comes with only 2, but if you want to pick up a couple extras, make some interesting scenes, you can do that also. So one more thing I want to talk about before I get into comparison is the fact that I don't like these side forked missiles very much. The Trident missiles. They call it a couple things actually, but I don't really like them so much. Like, they're kind of cool up here because that seems like it fits and you'd want something like that. But on the side here, I like these big torpedoes, and it's not really that expensive to probably pick up an extra couple of torpedoes. And then I just want to show you what it looked like if you decided to just do 2 torpedoes there. That looks pretty good. I like that. And while we're at this area, I want to show that the instructions so much didn't say it in all the technical jargon, but the front piece is different than the back piece. So there's like a turbine in the front, and then there's a vent in the back that looks different. It's slotted. So they're 2 different parts. So I thought this was going to be easier to get into frame, but it's a little challenging. Pretty good sized vehicles here. So maybe that's better. So I started to look into some research on the Bug and just figuring out how everything worked and did I have every part and all that. And I watched a couple of videos, but Form BX, I think 257 or Form BX did have a really good point that this is kind of the counterbalance to the whale, the killer whale, and these are both aquatic vehicles. They both use these rudders sort of in the back. They got the vertical vanes. They both have them, and even the instructions call them vertical vanes. And they also have an extra little piece. You have extra little vehicles that go with them. So all of this is kind of some cool stuff that so many similarities. This is very, very good observation made right there. And since the whale is my favorite vehicle of G.I. Joe of all time, I can see why I like the Bug. It just feels a lot like the counterpart to the whale, except in neon. For other scale comparison, here he is next to a water moccasin. I'm actually trying to restore some of my Tiger Force stuff. There it is next to an AWE striker. It's not quite as long as a hydrofoil, but about the same size. Like if you were to just stretch out the Bug, you got a hydrofoil. I do want to show you some common breakage points that you will generally find with this vehicle. And obviously, these guns here break very easily. So that's something you're going to see a lot. You're going to see broken ones of these a lot. Now, it's kind of a challenge to get unbroken ones, which is why people try to ask expensive amounts for them. But there's a couple of things you can do. You can get a couple of broken ones and then piece together, do some tricks to make one good one, which I'm probably going to do with this. And there's some stuff like that. Other breakage points. All of these tabs that scare me are easily broken or heavily stressed already. So that's something. And I imagine same thing on this area. So these tabs are easily broken, especially now they're older and more fragile. Everything about these vertical vanes and the connector are easily broken. So be very, very careful with them. I would suggest actually to heat them up if you're going to connect them or disconnect them, because less chance of breaking them if they're heated up, a little softer. But again, it's just one of those scary things. Preferably get one pre-assembled and don't take it apart and reassemble it. Just clean it the way it is. Anything with clear plastic and the tabs for these bubbles, so be very careful with all those. Those are common breakage points that I've seen, and that's just me looking at it for a couple of years. I'm sure there's more things you can break on this, but I don't want to find that out. So what do I think about the Cobra Bug? I think it actually is a very good vehicle for G.I. Joe. It is cool. It is full of tons of play value for kids, tons of display value for adults, even today. It is a little harder to get. I don't think they're made in very high quantities. There's not a whole lot of them out there for sale, but there are several out there for sale. And if you're patient enough, you can buy one and complete it, or buy one complete. But if you find one of these and come across it, hopefully you have a better idea of what all parts are involved and what you're looking for and all of that. And hopefully this video was helpful, at least so you know what's involved with this Cobra Bug, because it is quite an interesting vehicle with a lot going on, but still pretty simple at the end of the day. Let me know what you think in the comments below, like and subscribe. Teddy Maker out.